Your first fighter represents 10 Planet Freaks. Please welcome Sloan Climber. His opponent represents Barrett Submissions. Please welcome Daniel Robledo.
All right, here we go, you guys. We've got match number 3 coming up here. We've got 2 purple belts. Sloan Climber from 10th Planet Freaks, originally from Anderson, Indiana, and Daniel Robledo from Barrett Yoshida Submissions, originally from National City, so right down the street. We've got Sloan in the black and blue rash guard, and we've got Daniel in the black with red rash guard.
These guys are tiny.
You know,
somebody get them a protein drink.
you know, let me tell you something. I roll with Sloan. He's my training partner. He's the main guy that I always roll with. And this kid is hungry for a W every time. He has, his nickname is Caveman because he just has that strength. He's a monster. He came out here to San Diego specifically to train with the Freaks, and he's been here for, I want to say, like 2 years. And he's just been a staple to the team ever since he got here.
Nice. And he is wearing the Valetudo shorts, and everybody knows that definitely helps your game.
Yeah, you know, he started grappling
That was a nice,
in his hometown with his dad in a barn in their backyard.
amazing.
Oh, he's got that nice mounted guillotine.
This is very tight. I know that's very
Daniel might
uncomfortable
be in
for
trouble
Daniel.
here. Both of these guys purple belts, so
like
they've
he's
been in
just-
this position a lot. Daniel's out.
All right.
Beautiful, all the way through, all the way through. Don't give it half, all right? Go all the way
He's
through.
trying to finish the pass.
Back up a little bit. Dive in. Beautiful.
Looks like he wants to set
He's
that
right
up
back.
again.
Over top.
Nice. He's
He's
right
able
back
to
in
get
that.
the pass.
He's got a side control guillotine. That's interesting.
Because according to this, his favorite submission is a rear naked choke.
Oh,
I
well,
would-
It's right there.
You know, I'm telling you guys, Sloan is just one of these. When he has you there, it feels like there's a car laying on you. It's ridiculous. The strength and power that he has and how he's able to use it against you. I know for a fact Daniel is very uncomfortable.
He seems to be doing a really good job trying a lot of different defensive positions, and and something this isn't really a position that a lot of us practice from a lot. So I'm sure he's trying out different defensive techniques, trying to figure out what exactly is going to work in this position. But like I said, these guys are purple belts. They've been in really uncomfortable positions. To get a purple belt, you've spent hours and hours and hours of training. So, he's keeping us cool.
And Sloan's doing a great job trying to keep his back flat. Daniel's trying to get an angle and turn to a hip, but what Sloan's doing, he's controlling that elbow.
Right, he's not able to create the space that he needs to make that escape, and I think that's exactly what he's trying to achieve with these angles.
He's also doing a really good job with that left knee to block
Yeah.
his hip from turning in towards him.
Slowness.
Yes.
I agree, Becky. I concur.
Yeah.
What
So
a-
his
Daniel's-
top pressure game.
Yeah,
is-
he's doing that. The defense they use for a head and arm triangle.
Right. You reach up and grab your
grab
thigh.
your leg, grab
Yeah.
your thigh. Yeah.
That's a really
Hook
interesting
you.
choice, but it seems to be effective. It's working for him.
Well, we'll see. It's
working for him
now.
thus far,
Yeah,
Danny.
It is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little biased.
Oh,
my friend. my
go
teammate.
for it.
Now we're
Straight
setting some
ankle
legs
lock.
here.
Oh, this is
that
Sloan
is
is so
ugly.
nasty with these leg locks.
I see
Once
it.
he gets
I
your
see this
leg,
knee
it's
bar.
very-
Yeah.
Coming.
Danny's like, nope, that's my foot. That's mine. Gonna keep it
Oh,
for
dear.
right now.
Sloan's
Oh,
got his
dear.
braids on.
For
He's
right
holding his
now.
braids.
Oh, that
Might
was
happen now. That was-
interesting.
I like
So he
this.
slid his other foot in between.
Right, so
his
he's-
arm and the leg he was attacking, but there's
Can
It's
Danny
very
get that angle to turn? I don't know. That knee. His knee is not quite hyperextended, but Sloane's doing a really good job working for it.
Yeah, Sloane's looking for the toe hold now on that other foot.
Daniel is looking to defend. He's trying to get that angle to bend his knee.
a lot of unorthodox setups and positions for some of these things. So this is kind of a honey hole,
Yeah, ish.
sort of.
Now, you know, I'm curious to see if Sloane lets go of that toe hold and reaches back for that heel. If that heel
It's
hook's
right there. It is
Yeah.
right there, right underneath. Look at the toes are right underneath this
prob-
armpit.
And, you know, sometimes that happens. When you're in a submission, you forget about everything else. You get that tunnel vision, and you don't realize what else is there.
Or he's aware that he might have that as backup.
Oh, like a
look
sneaky
at
setting
you.
up the position.
Wow.
Oh, Daniel, that was some awesome
That was pretty
defense.
good. That was awesome.
Coming from Daniel
Tell you
Robledo.
what, that looked very uncomfortable, and
Yeah, it
Daniel
did.
did keep his composure against Sloane.
He's like, I'm cool. I got it. I got it.
Now, Sloane's doing a good job keeping Daniel from passing his guard.
Yeah, Daniel's looking for that knee slice. Sloane playing a little open guard.
Yeah, it's nice. He's got control of his foot with his left hand. That's always.
Daniel's going to go for a little bit of pressure passing.
Yeah, he's gonna pay Sloane back.
Sloane did seem open to the idea of just letting him,
That's true.
get on top.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna guess he's got game from the bottom as well.
he
That's-
does. He does. I'm just interested to see what Daniel's gonna do because Daniel's doing everything he can. He's still struggling to get a full pass.
Right.
I'll tell you, Sloane, like we talked about earlier, Sloane's comfortable in that Z guard. I'll tell you that.
So he's got that underhook.
Oh, now he's going for that kind of Darce Japanese necktie position. But notice that Sloane is doing a really good job keeping his neck straight, and that's what you want to do to defend that position. But Daniel just locked up the figure four. This could be dangerous for Sloane. Maybe not. And he's out.
It's always scary when somebody gets under your chin. You don't want that to happen. But if it does, that was the best thing he could have done was keeping his posture high and his neck straight.
Definitely.
You don't want to get curled into that jugular. That is not fun.
No, you're able to keep the pressure off the arteries with that straight neck and, being aware of where the choke is at all times, which he did a really good job. Oh, eye poke.
Some really good matches tonight so far.
This is a great time. They look exhausted. Sloane's braids are coming out.
Hey, look, somebody on top of you trying to murder you is a little tiring.
It'll wear you out.
It'll make you
No.
breathe a little hard.
We're just under 3 minutes now.
So what happens? Let's finish this conversation. What happens if we go into an overtime round?
So what happens in overtime is we've got three rounds,
Yes.
and we've got each person gets their opportunity on offense to submit their opponent. The other person is trying to escape, and the person with the fastest submission in the end will win. Or if there is no submission after 3 rounds, they will calculate the escape times of each person, and whoever has the quickest escape time, total escape time, wins the match.
Ooh, interesting. So what you're telling me is if we go into overtime and one person gets the tap, the match isn't over yet, the next person gets the opportunity to submit them faster.
If it is still in the same round of overtime.
So if we're at the bottom
so if we're
of the
at
round.
the bottom of the round of the second round, let's say, and someone gets the tap, then they're going to win.
Yay!
So it's kind of similar to like baseball. Like
Is
the
it?
the home team.
Sure.
Yeah, if the home team
If
scores,
you're tied in the end.
right, and you're tied in the end, then you get to go. So basically, if you start off a round and you get the submission, then the other person gets to try to get that submission quicker than you did.
Correct.
Yes.
That time, because if I get a submission in the top of the first round in 15 seconds,
The other person.
has to do it in less than 15 to beat me.
Or I imagine if 15 seconds, you would continue into a second round of
Right,
overtime.
right.
So what you're saying
don't
is
think
it's
that's
like
ever happened, though.
baseball, but with the danger of getting choked to sleep or
Right.
something broken.
Okay,
Things of
I
that
will
nature.
rephrase
I
that
see.
because I like what you did there. Yeah, the dangers of death are always very real.
A little bit
in
more
jiu-jitsu.
exciting than
Yeah, it's a little bit
a
more
ball and a
exciting than
bat?
just
All right,
9 innings
that's
of
cool.
swing the ball, throw the ball.
Also, the two positions in overtime that are used are starting from the back or starting from a spider web position.
Aw, snap. What is a spider web position, Becky?
It is essentially a setup to a nice armbar.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you can either choke somebody or break their arm.
The opponent on defense is on their back, while the opponent on offense is pretty much setting up for an armbar.
All right, so in the overtime, we're going to be looking for the fastest submission or the fastest escape from the submission attempt.
Exactly.
So here's my question, and I don't think anybody's been able to figure it out yet.
Well, you haven't asked us.
Right.
And we're pretty smart.
All right, let's figure it out. Let's see what you got. Is there a time when you look at the clock and you say, you know what, I'm going to save my energy, I'm going to survive, and I'm going to finish it in overtime?
You know, I think that's got to happen to a lot of people. I don't know. It's a submission only, and I kind of feel like if you are kind of working the system to go to overtime, then you are not honoring the spirit of a submission-only match.
I agree. So how do you limit that? Because I feel like that happens a lot, even in EBI.
I think you could have the potential for, I don't know about limiting it, but let's say, yeah, there's money involved. And let's say, okay, you submitted in regulation time, you submitted your first two opponents, you're here on the third match. And
wait, can I just interrupt you for 1 second? We are in the first round of overtime between Daniel and Sloan, and Daniel is taking Sloan's back.
So Daniel's goal right now is to submit Sloan. Sloan's goal is to get the F out of there.
And those of you at home that are curious, wondering why you can't see the time, because that's all in the fun. You won't know until the end.
That's the fun of overtime.
Unless you're at home with a timer yourself keeping track.
Okay, now in a situation like this, in case anybody is wondering, notice how Daniel, the overtime was still in play.
Even
until
after he lost
either
the
an
back.
armbar or the back was escaped. As long as he still has control of the back of the arm, it was done by the time he went to mount, because that's not part of the overtime rules. So you're looking for strictly an escape from the armbar or the choke. And you can go back and forth between those two submissions as long as you maintain control of your opponent.
There is times when there's transitions like this to an arm triangle.
That's right.
And the time also, because they're still controlling
And he's out.
Submission position.
So exactly what you were saying. As soon as his arm came out, the OT time stopped.
All right, we are on.
So now we're
top of the second round.
We're in the first half of the second round.
Correct.
Yes.
And to answer your question, so in EBI, the money is only available to the competitors if they finish their opponent in regulation. If you go to overtime, you still get the W, but you don't get the money.
Interesting. Now, is that the same rules for this tournament?
I don't know. That's a good question that we should ask.
We should.
So we could talk about that on air.
We'll find that out before the bracket starts.
There you go.
Because these are still super fights right now.
And now,
guys, these are just the prelims. If you're watching, understand this is just the beginning. This is to warm you up. This is like if you went to go see an AC/DC concert and you're watching everybody before they actually come out.
This is the opening acts.
Behind him the whole time. Bring him back in. Bring him back in. Bring him to the
It's
side.
close right now. It's very close, but Sloan needs to make sure he holds on.
and Daniel's almost out. He's out. These guys are escaping really fast.
They are. They are. If I had to guess right now, I would say that Sloan has to escape quick here. I would say he's behind by seconds.
If you were guessing, you
If I
would
were
guess that?
guessing, I would
you were
guess
guessing,
that.
you would guess that he has to escape quickly? That's a really good guess, Danny.
You know, correct.
If I were guessing, I would guess that one of them needs to get a submission.
Yeah, hey, that's an outstanding guess too. That's true too.
That's the ideal scenario.
There you go. At the end of the day, good submission, fast escape. That's what you're always looking for, right?
Okay. Well, this is submission only, so the spirit of this competition is the submission. This is because we figured out that there's going to be a stalemate in a 10-minute match, and now we've got to figure out who the winner is. The whole idea of coming up with the EBI rules is so that we always get a winner at the end of every match, because it's such a buzzkill to watch a submission-only match, and you come to the end, and you're like, nobody wins.
Right.
And you're like, yay, jiu-jitsu.
Everybody
Right.
did a great job.
Or on
It's
the
like
other side of
participation
that,
trophies.
Or on the other side of that, you know, I don't know how I feel about people who win tournaments by just playing defense or just having one takedown. And, you know, it's not
Well,
as
you are
exciting.
opening a can of worms,
Yeah, you are.
Danny Mo.
I know, but I do that sometimes.
People are going to start tweeting us. The inbox is going to start filling up. People are going to start talking about
okay.
points.
Oh,
That's
look,
okay.
we've got
They can yell at me.
Sloan
They can
taking
yell
the
at me.
spider web position for
You know, I'm a
this.
fan of spiderweb. I
I'm
like
a
it.
very big fan of it.
I think
And
it
he-
depends on who I have in that position.
Yeah.
Daniel's doing exactly what he needs to try and be doing, which he's trying to stick that foot into basically underneath the armpit of Sloan
Right.
that has the hook of his arm. That's
Far
hooking his arm.
armpit, yeah.
This is very tight. Daniel looks very uncomfortable there. He's doing what he can with his feet.
If he can get that foot in,
Yeah, that's
usually
a
a
good
good,
place to be. Yeah,
good
you
place. That right there,
want to get your
that,
foot underneath our armpit.
that foot poking through is exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
That's going to loosen up that hook on his arm. No.
Wait, why did they stop? I'm so confused.
I mean, he was going to get out for sure, but that seemed a little...
I don't know. Boogeyman, who is the promoter of this show.
You know, I
Ultimate
don't know
Warrior.
if maybe.
Escape time?
Your winner,
Oh!
Oh,
So
he
there was
stopped
no
it
way
because
he-
all right.
Climber.
They had gone over the point that Sloan had escaped, so now we knew that there was no way that Danny could win that match.
Right, right.
I get it. That makes sense. Totally.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Saves
sorry.
time.
I don't know
Saves
if he
time.
goes by Danny. You go by Danny.
I
He
go
goes
by
by
Danny,
Daniel.